How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. FTX says IRS demand for $24 billion in unpaid taxes is delaying recovery of user funds and possibly ruining it. The IRS service should substantiate its claim against FTX and show how it estimated back taxes it says are due, FTX lawyers said on Sunday in a new filing with the Delaware Bankruptcy Court. The move is the latest in months-long dispute between the IRS and FTX bankruptcy estate over how much they owe the IRS. While FTX claims they owes nothing to the IRS, the tax agency wants as much as $24 billion, more than 3 times the amount the estate currently has to try and make creditors whole, so they don't even have that much money. During its short 3-year life, FTX never distributed dividends or earnings and never earned anything anywhere near amounts that could support the IRS claims for $24 billion in taxes, the lawyers wrote. On the contrary, FTX lost a vast amount of money they added. The IRS initially said they wanted $44 billion, then they scaled it back to $43, and now they're at $24, so that's kind of a hint as they don't really know what is owed. The IRS says $24 billion owed is related to income taxes, employment taxes, and penalties owed by FTX and its affiliated entities from 2018 to 2022, and is still not a final figure because the IRS is continuing an audit. Over on the Dixie for the daily, we are within a rising channel, still we are making a bounce, continuing with a green candle. We have a long upper shadow candle though, so if we zoom in here, you see that long upper shadow candle? The upper shadow is twice the body length. That is what a long upper shadow candle is. It's 2 times or more the length of the body. That shows that buyers tried to push us to this purple EMA level. An EMA level is a zone of support or resistance for those of you who are not familiar. We'll go real quick if I can get this gear to show up. Click the gear. So we have Market Cipher A. I will show you these indicators quick so you can get them. This is on TradingView. It is for free. Our EMA periods are as follows. The style is as follows. So EMA 5 is our purple. EMA 5 is 150. So this is 150 daily candles to make this line move. So it takes quite a bit. It's not like this green one where this green one's like 5 or 10 days. So it's easier for the green line to move than the bigger purple line. And the higher you get up in that chart, the higher they are, or lower, the harder they are. Like this black one is the hardest one. The gray one's the second hardest one. And then the pink, then the purple. So it gets easier as we go. Because these EMA bands are trying to push above our lower EMA bands and reclaim some bullish momentum. However, when these bigger EMA bands are above us, it is kind of hard to get through them. Now, real quick, indicators. Market Cipher B edits by this person. This is our free one down here. And Market Cipher A free version right here. Those are the 2 indicators we are using. They are both free. They are both great tools. I would use this Market Cipher B for sure. Market Cipher A is a great tool too. It just pretty much gives you these EMAs. Those EMAs are like your supports between your Fibonacci ranges. So your Fibonacci retracement is all these colorful bands you see on our chart. We have a Fibonacci retracement video in our Trading Basics playlist that can show you how to get that and get what's called the golden pocket as well, which is a zone of heavy manipulation. But for what we see now, we have our stochastic, which is our double line. Our stochastic is this gold and blue. When gold is above blue, usually you have a sell-off, but you see they are just hanging out in this overbought territory, even though the gold is above blue. So that does show that even if you get a bearish indicator, it's not 100% necessarily going to bring you down. Nothing is 100% when you're trading. There is no crystal ball to be 100% perfect, so if that's what you're looking for, you're not going to find it. When our blue line is above gold, usually we have bullish momentum. So if this blue crosses over like it's trying, we could see a bit of a push forward. Stochastic is pretty maxed out though. It really isn't going to get above this 100 area. As you see, it got rejected right there. The stochastic gives the strength to our RSI. RSI is our relative strength index. It's this red line. Our RSI does want to continue forward. VWAP is trying to make a bounce off this neutral. So VWAP is our yellow wave right here. It's neutral along with the money flow and momentum is the zero line right here. Their neutral is 0. Our stochastic and our RSI have a neutral of 30. So our RSI and our stochastic range between 0 and 100, with about 30 being that bullish bearish flip point. Once you're below that 30, usually you see more of a sell-off. Once you see the RSI and stochastic down at that 0, that's pretty much as low as they can go. They can ride, you can see back here, they can ride out that oversold area just like they can ride out this overbought area. So they have a higher neutral area than these other three. These other three work together, these two work together. So if you remember that the zero line for these keep them grouped together and the zero line for these keep them grouped together, that'll help you out because there is quite a bit going on here. So back to how to read this indicator. Our money flow is this green and red wave. When it's green, it's bullish. When it's red, it's bearish. Usually you see flicks like here where you have stronger green momentum and here where you have a little bit more red momentum. Not this zigzag back and forth. When you get this indecision, it's very hard to make or break what your trend is. Our momentum is this blue wave. The big blue wave, when it's bullish, it's above this neutral, just like VWAP and money flow. When it's bearish, it's below this neutral, which is that 0 point. When they're above, up in this 100, they're overbought. When they're below, down in like the negatives, negative 76, 78, when they're down that low, they are bearish and overbought. Kind of like how when these are up top, they're overbought. When they're on the 0, they're oversold. So we do have a little bit of an attempt to push forward. Stochastic is trying to round away, but it could make a rebound. RSI wants to continue back forward. VWAP is trying to make a bounce. Money flow is trying to maintain that bullish momentum. Bullish means you will go forward. Bearish is meaning you will go down. Our momentum does want to push through that neutral. So if our VWAP can continue to bounce through here and favor the bullish territory, then the Dixie is likely going to continue up. However, if this VWAP starts to roll over here, our money flow is going to break back into that bearish territory, momentum's going to reject, and we could see a sell-off and see this channel take us over. Remember, it is a bearish pattern that can take you down. Just because it's a rising channel with higher highs and higher lows doesn't mean it will make you rise forever. Rising doesn't necessarily mean you're going up. That's again in our trading basics, so we have some patterns that you should be looking out for. So onto the total. We're not going to go into the lower time frames on Dixie and total and dominance because our futures, because these were doing pretty quick compared to the other coins. The other coins were more worried about the micro movements that they can make. If you are worried about more of the micro movements for the Dixie, total, and these, let me know in the comments. Drop a comment, say you want some more TA on them, and we can spend a little bit more time. No one's made that request, so I'm going to continue doing as we have been. Over on the daily for our total, this is everything except Bitcoin and Ethereum. So this is all our altcoins except Bitcoin and Ethereum. We are rejecting that Fibonacci blue level, pushing under with a long lower shadow, almost long lower shadow. It's not quite twice as long as that body. That is a pretty big body. So this wick does show that we could come back down and fill it. So I would watch out for that. Stochastic is pushing away. RSI is pushing away. Money flow is in the bullish territory, but it's flattening out as that VWAP is starting to come down. If that VWAP continues to come down, our momentum is going to continue to push away, which will make our money flow weaker, and we will see further sell-off. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we are just seeing a sea of red, so it's likely that we would bounce at some point just because of red. You don't want to see just one consecutive one white. You usually have retracement the other way when that happens. Like green, red. Green, we kind of went flat. Got a bunch of green here. We haven't quite retraced that yet though. We did get a little bit of red to pull us back, but we made a strong bounce and continued forward. But because that pump was so strong, we did retrace it with some red. Just like when you get multiple candles in a row of one sell-off or buyout, you do get these pumps. So if you get these big candles in the green direction, meaning people are buying, then you're likely going to be followed with some red, meaning there's sell-off. Because usually when you have a quick pump or a quick dump, it's usually followed by the opposite at some point. That's not 100%. You do have coins that are going to plummet and they won't recover, so just be weary of that. Ear is itchy. Stochastic is pushing down here, RSI is coming out, VWAP is pushing into that bearish territory, money flow is coming down, we have a manipulation X, and our green EMA is trying to break under our blue EMA. So we have a lot of bearish things going on. Those EMAs crossing under each other are a bearish sign that can bring us down. Stochastic's pretty beat down, RSI is coming out, VWAP's maintaining a bearish trend, and the money flow wants to break bearish, and the momentum is close as well. If this VWAP continues in the bearish territory for the next few days, we could see dominance make a continued break and push down, maybe see some volatile push down, very short retracement back up, and another push back down. That would not be the ideal case, but that could be on the table. Over on Bitcoin futures, we are coming back down. We filled our first gap with a very strong red candle, so I'm going to delete this as we got rid of that flag possibility. Momentum does want to push down. Stochastic is spreading away very strong and pushing down. Our RSI is losing strength. VWAP is in that bearish territory pretty decently, bringing the money flow down close to that neutral. If the VWAP continues to favor the bearish territory here, it's likely the money flow will flip into the bearish territory, and then we can start filling these other lower gaps, like this 39K, 39.5, and our next one's at that 31.5, a pretty big drop, then about 30K, and then about 20K. So just watch out for those areas. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, we are dropping away. We did get our full breakdown of our rising channel, so we are probably not going to see any sort of retest. So if you got that full move, good on you. I know a few people had their eyes on it. Sadly, not everyone got the move though. We are coming back down. We're flirting with this support level. If we are not able to make a strong bounce here and continue forward, break this Fibonacci level and reclaim 44K, it's very likely that we will roll over, break back into this ascending channel, which this could then be a freak breakout that can pull us back in and then push us down to that golden pocket, feel some lower price action. Remember that rising channel can take us down to around that 27 to 28K area. If we do not hold after that push, we do have our value area low right around that 25.5, and then we do have futures pointing at about 20K if we're not able to hold from there. Oops, did not mean to go on to the next coin. I meant to go on to the daily. Real quick, our indicators, we skipped over those as well. Just all over today, I guess. Our momentum has that double red dot that we are starting to see play out and bring the momentum down as our VWAP is breaking into that bearish territory and pushing down. Our stochastic overall is spreading away pretty decently, making a pretty decent drop. RSI is continuing down. It does want to go sideways, but if the stochastic breaks through that 30, it's very likely the RSI will continue down with it. With this VWAP pushing in that bearish territory, I would watch those lower time frames. If they do not pick up some bullish money flow in VWAP, it's very likely we could see the daily start to spill over from here. We did make a strong bounce around that 40K support level, So if we break that 40K, that's likely where this channel would become back into play. So over on the 4 hour, we are kind of chopping sideways, pushing down, so just watch out for that to be a trend. If we start to drop away, chop sideways, we could see another drop down from here. RSI is continuing out. Momentum is pushing down. That momentum is pretty oversold. We'll have to zoom out just so you can see it. It does want to get a double green dot though and push forward, as that VWAP is trying to push above that neutral. If our VWAP can get consistent or higher highs or even favor the bullish territory from here, then we could see price action continue forward. However, if our VWAP makes a rollover here and then favors the bearish territory again, we're likely going to get a breakdown. Over on the 2 hour, we are kind of zigzagging around with that money flow. It's not sure where it wants to be. If VWAP is struggling to maintain a trend, it is slightly favoring the bullish territory though. So if that favor to the bullish territory can take over, we may see this bullish divergence on our momentum push us forward. Our RSI and stochastic want to push forward. They are coming up right around that 30 area, so I would just watch. If we cannot get that stochastic orange line to break above this 30, then we may see a rollover from this area. Over on the 1 hour, we are making a pretty decent push above that resistance, so if we can confirm a push over the next few candles and break these EMAs, this blue and black one, then we may be able to continue back forward. However, if we get rejected here, it's very likely we will come back down and retest these supports. Our stochastic is pretty overbought right now. It does want to roll away. Our RSI is trying to push forward, as that stochastic does have a lot of strength, but the money flow is in the bearish territory, as that VWAP was favoring bearish momentum. The VWAP did come back up to the bullish territory, so if it can favor the bullish territory here, that momentum and money flow could come back up for a recovery with their bullish divergence. However, if our VWAP makes a consistent high, rolls over and makes a lower low, then we could see the bears regain control and a snap away from this area. So I would just exercise some caution here. Over on graph for the daily, we are still within our channel. We are seeing a pretty decent push down, breaking that support level of that 16,316. The stochastic does want to push down. Momentum has a double red dot. VWAP has broken into that bearish territory, and our money flow is starting to push down as everything else is starting to sell off. Over on our 4 hour, we do have a manipulation X that did bring us down. Sorry about that. So that did bring us down, broke that resistance. We did try to come up for a retest and we got rejected. Usually when you get rejected after a retest, you do continue back down. However, we are trying to come back up for another possibility and another retest. So if we can break through and push through, that'll be great. However, if we get rejected again, it's very likely we will push down to support. Our side does want to trend away. Stochastic does want to trend away. Money flow is starting to come out. Momentum is pushing in that bearish territory, but it has a green dot, so it does want to push forward as that VWAP is trying to break bullish. If our VWAP doesn't get a new high in favor of the bullish territory, it's likely going to roll over and then pull back into the bearish territory. If it does that, then we will likely see the bears regain some control here. Over on our 2 hour, we are trying to trend forward. We did have almost a slight gap there. We are seeing that green EMA try to curl back above that purple EMA. If it can continue back through this purple EMA, we may be able to see it continue back through the red, blue, and yellow, which would all be bullish crosses that would try to continue to push us up back toward this support resistance around that 17,691 zone. RSI overall is coming down on the 2 hour. Our stochastic overall is pushing down. VWAP is getting over that neutral after getting higher lows, so it has higher highs with higher lows. It is a bullish trend, but I would just watch out. Momentum does want to push forward, but that money flow overall is coming down. It did make a bounce with the VWAP, so if that VWAP does round away, the money flow is likely going to make a break for it. Over on the 1 hour, we are seeing price action try to break above that highest EMA, trying to break our second highest, but kind of getting stalled out. Stochastic does want to round away. RSI is trying to push forward as it has a lot of strength right now, but if that stochastic starts to sell off, the RSI is likely going to follow. Our VWAP does have higher lows with higher highs, so that is a positive sign that can try to push us forward, as that money flow did break into the bearish territory, but it's trying to reclaim bullish momentum. If it can continue forward from here in favor of the bullish territory, it's likely we will push forward, re-break that 16,316, and possibly break our resistance. Over on Anchor for the daily, we are coming down to make that neck, so this would be where you would want to see a breakdown. Actually, with this wick, if we move this candle, that wick kind of did give us our breakdown. So we invalidated this pattern that we said wasn't very likely, and we did take that double top possibility down. We did mention that the market was looking a little more down. Our stochastic is pushing away here, RSI is coming out, momentum's pushing down, money flow wants to push away, and that VWAP is breaking into that bearish territory. If the VWAP favors the bearish territory from here, if I can get the words out, then it's very likely we will continue to push down. We could fill this wick, but I wouldn't bet too much on retesting these zones, at least not right away. Over on the 4 hour, we did have a bit of a gap down when we made this break and tried to push up from it, so we did fill that gap. We are rolling back over and pushing away after filling that gap, so there's a good example how those gaps do fill and how they work for you. We have a pretty long lower shadow. It's about as long as the body, so it's not a textbook one that can make us go bullish, which is why we came up, filled the gap, and got rejected. There is a possibility though, if we continue with strong green candles from here, we can push forward. Our RSI is trying to go pretty flat. Our stochastic's pretty flat. It is oversold. It's just below that 12, so it doesn't have very much strength. VWAP does want to push forward. It is in the bullish territory, but it's getting a weak high. If our VWAP rolls over here and flops, then the money flow is likely going to come down, as our momentum is pretty oversold. It is heavy in that bearish territory, so the momentum is strong with the bearish side. So if we look at the 2 hour, you can see these wicks. Going to delete this, going to delete our channel now that you can kind of see what the wicks that did fill. Even though it was a quick flash fill, it is a fill. That also shows you why you should not bet on the full move, besides the possibility of not getting down to the full move. Because if you're trying to sell a decent amount, you're not going to sell at that bottom percentage no matter who or where you are. Because it's very hard to get that many orders filled. Usually they fill very quick at the bottoms, and you don't just hang around there. It's usually like a few seconds or maybe a minute or two. Our stochastic does want to push forward, RSI wants to head forward, money flow wants to push forward, and our VWAP wants to push forward. So we do look like we do have possibilities to continue up. Momentum is trying to continue with a bullish divergence. With that VWAP making that bounce, that bullish divergence could play out as long as the daily doesn't get some weakness. Or the hourly, sorry. Our stochastic on the 1 hour does want to roll, so I would watch out for that. Our RSI is continuing forward with strength. VWAP is breaking in the bullish territory, but it looks like it wants to flatten out as it made a newish local high, and it wants to kind of roll over. If it rolls over and bounces off the neutral or gets a higher low, we could see continued bullish momentum push us forward. However, if we break through that neutral in favor of the bearish territory, that's where the bears could take over and bring us back down. The money flow did make a bounce off that neutral, with the VWAP pushing above the bullish territory. Our momentum does want to continue forward, but again, watch that VWAP closely. Real quick, if you have not already, smash that like, hit the subscribe, and join us in that Discord. That way, if you have any questions, we can help you out. We are getting a pretty good rejection from that value area high like we mentioned. We are pushing down to that support, and we did make a decent bounce off support, Just like everything else, we got that flash crash. Another good example why you never want to go for the full move down and why you may not get that full move down. Stochastic does want to push down. RSI wants to push down. Momentum is rolling over with a red dot as our VWAP has broken into the bearish territory. Our money flow is in the bullish territory, pushing, but it's pretty flat as that VWAP's losing steam. If that VWAP continues to favor the bearish territory, momentum's going to roll over and our money flow will continue down. Over on the 4-hour, you are seeing that manipulation X here bring us down pretty strong. RSI is indecisive. It is overall pushing down as our stochastic has no strength. Our money flow is clinging to that bullish territory as the VWAP was favoring the bearish territory. It was getting lower highs with lower lows, but that didn't last very long as we are above the neutral. If we can sustain above this neutral and push forward from here, we may see a strong bounce. However, if we see a rollover here, this could be a bit of a retracement and then a pullback continues from there. Momentum does want to signal a pull forward as that VWAP is pushing forward, but just watch out for any kind of a weak rollover. Over on the 2-hour, we are trying to round back up, but we are overall pushing down. I wouldn't call it a straight down channel, as if we tried to draw a straight down channel, this candle right here would be breaking out of it. It could be a freak breakout and we could continue down. If we do make a straight down channel from here, that would be a bullish pattern. That bullish pattern could push us forward, but I wouldn't bet too much on that happening right now. RSI does want to head forward. Stochastic wants to make a bounce, so our RSI could continue forward if that stochastic can break through that 30. That VWAP is pushing over that neutral, but it's not very strong, so if it gets a rollover, we could see all this little bit of bullish hopium get retraced and continue downside. Momentum does want to push forward with that VWAP pushing over that neutral, but with the VWAP flattening out, that push forward would be in jeopardy. Over on the 1-hour, we are rejecting that blue EMA. We do have a long upper shadow candle, which shows that buyers tried to push us up, but sellers stepped in and pushed us lower. So that could signal, if we see further red candles, that we will get pushed to the downside. Stochastic does want to roll over, that is if that candle confirms. RSI wants to push forward, VWAP does want to roll away, and the money flow is struggling to push into the bullish territory. So if the money flow does not cross into this bullish territory and continue forward with strong green candles from here, it's very likely we will see another snap to the downside, as we've been getting like this drop, bounce, drop, then bounce, then drop, then bounce, then drop, then bounce, so we could have another drop. And we're not going too straight, so it's not really making a descending channel to help push us forward. Over on Algo for the daily, we are trying to push up toward our golden pocket again. Our stochastic is starting to round. It's pretty flat out, but just watch out. Momentum does want to push away. We have that double red dot. That VWAP is breaking in the bearish territory. If that VWAP continues in the bearish territory from here, it's very likely we will continue down. Money flow is pushing forward, but again, if that VWAP pushes down, momentum will come down, and then money flow will come down as well. Over on the 4-hour, you can see we made a pretty strong move up. We might actually have some sort of a gap on the lower time frame, so I would watch out for that. Our momentum does have bearish divergence. Stochastic has bearish divergence. RSI is trying to push forward, but with the stochastic under that 30, the RSI would be in jeopardy of pushing under if our stochastic rejects that 30. VWAP is pushing into the bullish territory with a strong high. It hasn't been this high since back here, so I would just watch. If the VWAP does favor the bullish territory from here, we will continue back through this golden pocket. Remember, it is a zone of manipulation. We could see one big candle just and push us way to the top of it, just like back there. Over on the 2-hour, we are trying to push forward. We don't quite have a gap up yet, so that is good. Stochastic is pushing forward. RSI is pushing forward. VWAP is starting to decline. Money flow is in the bullish territory, and the momentum is in the bullish territory. But if that VWAP makes a break to the bearish side and favors it, then this push forward could be in jeopardy. We are favoring the bullish territory currently with the VWAP with green money flow, so that is decent for us. Over on the 1 hour, VWAP is coming down, trying to test that neutral. We have a reversal arrow that wants to bring us down. Money flows indecisive. Momentum could round away if that VWAP breaks. So if that VWAP breaks, the momentum and money flow may break into the bearish territory and we could see a strong sell-off. Stochastic does look like it could start to round away. If that happens, this RSI would be in jeopardy of falling away from this range. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.